Barrister Ogwu James Onoja San is a legal practitioner and notary public with the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Barrister Onoja has authored several publications on legal and social subjects in Nigeria, including the Supreme Court Rules, Practice and Procedure, and the Court of Appeal Rules, Practice and Procedure, both published in 2010, and the Federal High Court Rules, Practice and Procedure, Volumes 1 and 2, published in 2012.
Chief Onoja is a man that is highly placed.
He's somebody that holds God very dear.
He's a man worthy to know, worthy to interact with.
He's kind to everybody around him.
He doesn't make too much noise about it.
Barrister Ogwu James Onoja San was born on the 19th of February 1968 in Ida, Kogi State, Nigeria, to the families of Job Idoko Onoja and Mary Omada Onoja.
Meaning of Ogwu himself is a son born during the war.
From the account of my parents, the day I was born, a bomb was dropped in Ida by the Biafran soldiers. It's a story that I delighted listening to when both of them are giving me the circumstances of my birth. And the story is that when the bomb came down, that was the same day I was born. So my growing up was in Ankpa, in Ogwu, in Ogwu. We were also in Okaba, because my father was a health worker. So he was being transferred from one place to the other. That's what they call Odubangiri, people, sanitary inspectors. And I remember very well my father was away to Kano. He was in school of hygiene Kano in those days, around that 72, 73. And I recall my mother being the breadwinner, making bread, cake, pong-puff. He had a small bread factory. I recall very well that she would carry me on her back, going from one place to the other, selling the bread.
Onoja started his early primary education at a very tender age when he was following his brother to school, even when he was not of school age as at that time.
I followed him to school, and I remember when he came to taking pictures for the class, they said I should not take the picture because I was not a registered member of the class. I was only following them to school, wearing the same uniform, but they did not register me because my hand did not touch my ear.
At the age of 7 in 1976, while in Ogwu, Onoja was formally enrolled and started his educational journey.
I think the very day what I recall very well was the same day Murtala Mohammed was assassinated. Or maybe the following day, because those days we had what we call voice newspaper. When I saw the picture of assassinated Murtala, Taiwo, and all that, I started primary school in Ogwu.
He's somebody who had interest in school from youth.
Barrister Onoja graduated from the Afante High School in 1985 and then went to the School of Basic Studies in Makurdi, where he obtained an advanced level certificate in 1987.
In those days, he grew up in the village, in our village of Afante, and he had a normal village life. The village life in those days is filled up with honesty and dedication. So that made him to be very dedicated to his studies.
Even though I have no facility for studying as we have in these days, we're very serious with our academics. We're very respectful. We're brought up in to respect the elders and then to respect institutions. So I recall very well that what made us to be committed is the expected reward that we are looking for. Because that time we heard about people like Gani Fayemi, Justice Hassan Idoko, and we're all aspiring to be somebody like them. That made us to be committed to reading, to study, and then also we also do other activities like going to farm. You can go to
In his quest for further studies, he went to the University of Jos from 1987 to 1990, where he earned his Bachelor of Laws LLB. After graduation, he attended Nigeria Law School for his Barrister at Laws to practice law in Nigeria and did his compulsory National Youth Service Corps at Nkwere Local Government Council in the old Imo State of Nigeria between 1991 and 1992. From 1996 to 1997, he was at the University of Lagos, where he obtained a Master's at Law degree. He obtained his postgraduate diploma in management from the University of Calabar in 2001 and his Master's of Business Administration from the University of Calabar 2002.
Every time we're on holiday, I'll come home to my father and farm with him. Don't go anywhere. I always come home to stay with my father and farm with him. So we are the Oma Ogijo. Makini Oma Ogijo, ki atata ubinyoko, Oma Buche atawi. Yeah, so I'm like the son of my father. I stay with my father, I farm with him, I take care of him. I've never traveled to anywhere.
Ogwu James Onoja, who had special interest in football, explains how his journey into becoming a lawyer started. A decision that was largely influenced by his uncle, Simon.
And while I was in the School of Basic Studies, because I have some brothers that encouraged me big time. You can't believe it. Big time. I'll mention his name to you. Simon Onoja Brusque. While I was in the SBS, I would go and visit him in town, or anytime we met in the village. He would be introducing me as a lawyer when I was not reading law. So I said, brother, why are you saying I'm not reading law? I say, you slap the hell out of me. Already they are believing me I'm going to be the lawyer of the family, and I want to deny. So, and I was the football captain for the village team. So the last instance was when we went to Adupi to play football. We won the Adupi people. And then he was introducing me as a lawyer to a guy there. And the guy said, why are you reading law? Before I answer, Simon said, Unijos. And I was not anywhere in Unijos. I was in SBS. So I said, what this thing? He said, he will beat me and I will not follow the motto to advantage. So I agree. The guy said, but he's also in Unijos. Where Chris said, are you? I couldn't answer. Simon was the one answering everything. So I now made up my mind that I must read this law. The way this guy kept on introducing me as lawyer. So Simon is a big encouragement to me. And then I learned from there the principle of positive self-blackmail. Simon blackmailed me to read law.
He's somebody who likes writing and documentation. At this time, he has squabbles with some persons. He documented as far back as when he was in primary 3. I reminded him the last time we met, and he recollected immediately. A kind of keeping diary. I mean, writing kind of exercise book. So you keep date, you write his friends, what has happened, and all those things. As far back as primary 3. And there's this incident that happened sometimes. He had queries with somebody and he documented it. And when they were trying to kind of cross-examine him, he vividly brought out what had happened because he documented it.
Through his career, business acumen and initiatives, Onoja creates opportunities for the youth to be gainfully employed and unlock their hidden potentials.
He said, he has a big office, he's so big, I would like you to work with him. And I said, okay, just get the contact. As God may have it, my husband came one day. He came to the hospital after treating him. He was like, I have my wife, she's been at home, and I would like her to join your office. And he told him, okay, let her come in. In fact, I was so excited.
When I had the opportunity of meeting him was at the time of my engagement to directly work with him as head of chambers. And that was in 2017. And he was so humane, was so welcoming, and he was full of advice.
I was already the publicity secretary of MBO Abuja branch. That was how we met during one of our branch meetings. I think he hosted the branch meeting. Since then, it's been a wonderful relationship with him.
I've been working with Chief James Ogwu Onoja, SAN, since the year 2006. And it has been splendid all this while.
We started moving as friends. From friendship, developed to brotherhood. Became like two brothers, started confiding in each other. And then I had my own office in Maitama. He had his own in Asokoro. And then we had to do a joint project. It was like essentially his own idea, his conception, but he brought me into it and felt that, look, you cannot be staying far away if we must succeed. Why not come to my place? I'll give you an office, then we'll work together. We started like that. Coming closer, we discovered that we are two great minds. And since then, there have been no regret. We've been going to court together, writing books together. He has himself as in the organization, he is the editor-in-chief and the author. He made me the deputy editor-in-chief.
I think James, more than half of his life has been with me. We had a very good family bond. That's why I say he's my son.
With extraordinary speed, agility, sophisticated brainwork, and uncanny ability, he turns almost any situation into a scoring opportunity for the advancement of society, particularly his people. Unlike many of his contemporaries who found their ways to the top through opportunities created by others, Onoja created his own path through sheer hard work, diligence, and sincerity.
Somebody recommended him as a very trusted, serious, mature young man to do some services. And we met, and somehow we just clicked. And from them, we drew much closer. It became more than business. It became part of my life. And the privilege I've had is that, the pride I have in seeing how, during that period, he has grown. For me, I've seen with pride the progress he has made in his career. I've seen him raise his family. As one aspect of him I strongly respect. He's a total family man. I think he has also seen my example in that respect. I'm very, very much absorbed in my family, my children, my wife. And everybody is now a household name in his profession. And all that is self-made on his own steam. And I always recommend him as an example to other younger people that, it's within everybody's capacity to realize their full potential if you are ready to, go the hard way. There's no half measures about it. This is someone who, from day one, had set his goals on getting to the top of his profession.
His formative years imbued in him the ability to source and manage both human and material resources for the betterment of mankind. From childhood, he showed signs of an achiever, evident only to those with foresight.
To tell you how his organizational ability and how he puts people together. He founded one club called Ofante Club de Honors. Ofante Club de Honor. Ofante Club de Honor is a group of friends of our own age group that he put together so that we can interact and run things together to the betterment and upliftment of the people in the community before he went to the university. And that has been his life.
He's a mentor. He's somebody who loved everybody, except we are not close to him. He performs duties of elders, some that even people older than him cannot shoulder.
He had great dreams to be educated and become qualified to play important roles in the development of Igala land, Kogi State, and Nigeria in general. He garnered his experiences by providing solutions to every challenge that confronts him and those with whom he daily interacts, especially his workers.
His relationship with people is what has sustained him. Because if you are honest, people will always like to take you into confidence.
Unlike others, if you work with somebody and it's not good to you, whether you become an ICN or not, within a minute you are gone. But we meet together, today by God's grace, our joint efforts are yielded fruit. I am now a senior advocate of Nigeria, and since I became one, he doesn't call me by my name, Webute. He calls me my brother Sikh. So it has been wonderful working with him, and especially when we work and money comes in, we've never had any friction.
It's somebody that you always love to work with because there is a difference from other principals in the profession. He's there to tell you what you need to do at a time so that you don't fail. You see, when he gives assignment, he provides you with every necessary tools and support that will make you to succeed in your given assignment.
We have all the resources we need in terms of facility, in terms of legal text, in terms of motivation, in terms of the wherewithal, the things that he has surrounded us with to make our work easy, convenient, and rewarding.
Working with him at the first, few months, it wasn't really easy for me because it was like I was in a government establishment before where I was practically the head. You do your thing, fashion your program in a way it suits you, and the laxity in the government sector and all that. But when I came here, it was a more of an organized, well-structured setting.
And it has been splendid all this while. In fact, he's a person that has improved my life. I have worked in several companies before, and even government establishment, before joining him in 2006, after leaving my degree. And since then, I've been together with him. I found to understand him to be a very humane, loving personality. I'm very transparent.
So working with Chief has been an eye-opener for me. I'm an architect, he's a lawyer, and then I worked with him in almost all the projects for the past 18 years that he handled.
Working with Chief has been wonderful. As working from outside, he's a likable person. He's humble, hardworking, and focused. Anything he sets his mind on, he tries as much as possible as is humanly possible to achieve it. He gives a lot of us, I would say now, the younger ones, inspiration. We look up to him. He's somebody that you pray to be like.
He's a man that is hardworking himself, because you look at the head and you know what you can do. He's so hardworking. Of course, he will be in the office till 9. You carry your bag by 6, you just look like, you're a lazy person or you've not even started. And when I came, by 5, I'm picking my bag. I'm just looking, everybody's just so relaxed in the office. Nobody is even, I'm like, these people, they know they go home. What's their own, So that period, it wasn't easy to really fit in. But when I got used to the whole setting, I started enjoying it because I found out that there's more to it.
One has been exposed to higher levels of legal practice. The kind of clients that we deal with are high-profile people. You get to handle very sensitive and delicate cases that will task your intelligence and your competence and your capability.
And to me, he's the best person anybody can work with.
He took us, some of us are working with him, he took us into his family and he took us as part of his family members.
With these rich experiences from diverse sources, particularly his parents, Onoja became inspired. Inspired to do the unthinkable, inspired to create paths for others, inspired to make a difference in his time. As a child, he desired to help develop humanity some way, somehow, and someday. With determination and perseverance, he acquired skills and intellect that made him so unique, trailing the path of both his mother and his father.
Making us to live a life of exemplary conduct, believing in the power of God, power of moral, power of integrity, and then the importance of, respecting your elders. That has really been what I inherited from my parents. They are very godly people, people that fear God, people that love to associate with people, people that love to help people. And my father, I was a community leader sort of. He was the chairman of Parent Teachers Association of our community high school. And as a child, and I saw him helping so many people that comes to him for help, people that they can't pay their school fees, their parents will come, he will assist them. I saw all those things. And then at the time I got worried at the level, I said, including helping his enemies that I know very well. And then my own mother also, who sells bread, who had a bread bakery and all those things. He had a restaurant at the time. Everybody that comes, say, come and eat, they will pay. Even when I finished my NYC, I came, the money I brought home for him to add to his business, to her business, he will go and buy the goat, he will cook and dash the food to people. So I had a parents that were both very generous. And that is why also I believe that we need to help other people that are not able to. So that is where I got the spirit of helping from. And there's no regret in that at all, because I can also see the benefit and the joy in it. So my prayer is, God, give to me so that I'll give to others. We had the Bar and Bench publishers here before, but we move it to Nasarawa State now, where we built a big complex, Bar and Bench Publishers Limited, which is the publishing arm of Ogwu Onoja, Son and Associate. We built Bar and Bench because we want to publish our books ourselves instead of going to abroad or going to other printing press, which is the one increasing piracy. Because when you give to them to print for you, you will not know what they'll do with the soft copy of your books. So we have a printing press that not only printing our own books, we print books for other authors and other lawyers. And presently, as I showed you before, we publish our own books. We publish for Supreme Court, Court of Appeal, and some High Court.
As his fortune soars in leaps and bounds, Chief Onoja sought a way to contribute to human and community development in various ways. People, including communities that have benefited from his benevolence, gave testimonies to these numerous impacts.
He quietly does a lot of philanthropic work. Many people don't know. He doesn't make noise about it, but because of his closeness to me, I'm aware of this. He has been responsible for many young people who are also making their mark today, within and outside the legal profession.
Yes,
So
even in your office, it's a direct staff. He makes sure that everybody is a car owner. Then he also starts by making sure if you have attained the age of marriage, He will encourage you not just to marry, but he will try and sponsor the wedding.
There is nobody that would come in contact with him that would not live with something at hand. There's nobody that comes in contact with him that will not be touched by his kindness, which he demonstrates in very practical ways.
There are a lot of testimonies out there among lawyers, people who he assisted, people who he genuinely assisted without any consideration, whether you are from Kogi or from Adamawa or from Anambra or from any part of the country. Once he picks interest, he knows you are dedicated to the profession, you know what you are doing, he will give you the necessary support.
You have created a lot of platforms for young persons to get employment in the past. And even in his village, he's well known for the good work he's doing.
He gives money for staff to buy a plot of land for themselves. And whenever God blesses, he was okay, my friend, come, that's your land, have you started development? Say no. Okay, take this and start foundation.
He doesn't tolerate eye service. He doesn't tolerate laziness. And he's very friendly with every staff, even from the messenger in the office.
Chief Onoja reaches out to the less privileged, carries out medical outreach and caters for the aged, widows as well as orphans.
He maintains both old and young.
He has a lot of elderly people, a lot of widows and orphans on his payroll.
Unekeka million kipabye mama kere dani kuna lule ajo buy kiti ojo.
To feed somebody very important. During Christmas time, you buy hundreds of bags of rice for people, goods and others, at least to keep them comfortable during Christmas period. You take care of the widows. In our own church here, you buy them salt, rice during Christmas. Sometimes you need to buy cow for them. The widows will slaughter it and share among themselves.
I'm a live witness because he sent the money through me. At times 1 million, 1.5, 1.2, we'll buy rice, share it to the less privileged, the widows.
Every Easter, my rice is provided in my house, first before my own children. I'm mother of 9.
Gives out scholarship to deserving candidates, registers those who want to acquire knowledge in trading and further studies.
Well, let me even give you one small example. There's another security in my house. This boy came to me. He said, I've been trying to enter Air Force, so. And then he has applied me 3 times. It's not, they refused to take him and he does not have anybody. So I said, okay, what do you want? He said that maybe if we can help him. You know, I told my husband, I said, this is your security. Can you help him? He said that, I said, he said, what does he want? I said he wants to enter Air Force. And he said, okay, we now called Isodli. Then I told him that, that Air Force man that used to help, can he help my security? He said yes. And he told him whatever it entails, I will do so that this boy gets what he wants. You know, that is his worker. You know what I'm saying is, a lot of people, if you are working with them, they will not be, they cannot do that for you, even if they have the capacity to do it. You know, but because he wish everybody well, you know, he's a man that he will train his drivers, put drivers in school and all that.
It's a product of our community high school, of anti-community high school. The first set. For a very long time, he has been giving back to that high school.
Provide the facilities and encourage the indigent students, indigent communities to have access to quality education.
He decided to set up speech and prize giving day for Sultan's land.
He decided to be registering
all NECO candidates of this particular school free of charge. And that has been helping many orphans and students from poor family.
You see somebody who is very intelligent or has no money to further his education. He has been doing that. A lot of persons have their degrees to his credit within our environment.
I'm very happy, especially for the man named Chief Ogwu Barrister San, who has been contributing to the development of our school, especially for the fact that he paid for NECO WAEC of the outgoing students in SS3, and also the support he has been giving us, especially during our speech giving day, to assist students to put more effort in their academics work.
It's not a one-off kind of scholarship. If you receive scholarship for, say, agric education, for instance, and agric education, if it is 4 years or 5 years, you enjoy that scholarship for 5 years. If you receive the scholarship for law, you continue for 5 years and continue that scholarship up to law school. It's until you graduate. All the families in Ofante are involved. And currently, we are doing a 3-block classroom at Adumu, Ogwu. It has just been plastered. And between now and Saturday, the painting work will be done. I'm happy that you have been there to see the quality of the building. We have erected a building that can stand for the next 100 years without a crack.
Education is very important. And for him to have set up that platform shows that he has the mind to ensure that his people are brought into the fold of those who enjoy the opportunities that come with education.
Ogwu is a sport lover. I was a football captain all the way from primary school, secondary school, SBS Makodi, University of Jos. Also, I was the football captain for my faculty, even to NYSC.
He's yearly sponsoring football club to bring all the schools in what we call Ogwu, Ofante area for competition. And these are projects that he sponsors both with t-shirts, their jerseys, their tracksuits, and football equipment, worth millions.
The idea is this. By the time you finish exhausting yourself from the field, you won't be thinking of going to rape somebody, going to fight or do all these small courtesan they are doing in the village. That is the idea behind that.
Almost 4 or 5 times now, he has been able to grade the road from Ogwu down to Fante's village. Anytime the rain picks it up. And I think the last one that was a major project, the state government wanted to make a lot of noise out of it, but we encourage him to continue.
You see, as a child was brought up in this community, he knows the plights of our people, especially during dry season.
This borehole, industrial borehole, he built, spent millions of naira, drilled, and was commissioned on 27th of June 2020. The whole of this community was agog with women, children, old and young, from near and far, to celebrate him for what he has done.
To my knowledge, he has helped many, numbering over 100 lawyers to attain the zenith of their profession and career, becoming senior advocates of Nigeria.
What you see out there that she's doing for everybody is an inborn thing. He's a very compassionate person, you know, he's real. Not because he's my husband. When I'm telling you that somebody, you know, it comes, you know, he grieves when people around him are suffering. That is how he is.
So many people believe that Onoja carries out many of these philanthropic gestures in order to gain political favor. However, he explains why he never gets tired solving the many problems and needs of his people, regardless of many confrontations.
One thing that I come to realize is that every man needs an assistant. Every man. There's nobody that is fiercely independent, that does not need the help from anybody. And when we started this, we had no intention of putting it to make publicity out of it. But you see, when you do something that is good, it cannot be hidden. And some people ascribe political motivation into it. I'm telling you, and I'm saying it here, that whatever I do for my community is without political motivation. I'm doing it because I love to do it. I believe it's biblical to help your neighbor. I believe it's biblical to help those in need. And I also believe that there is joy in sharing. There is a proverb in my Igala language. Kakini eneketa jobo kamuriyon. Only one person cannot eat soup. I want to now, after eating your soup, start telling people how sweet it is. You must share for people to appreciate it.
Of course, many of these supports he provides for people, individuals and communities come with lots of challenge, as he explains.
I'll give you an example. There are so many people from my community that were in court because I tried to help them. The Igala people say, we told you not to help Igala people, we are helping them. And I always tell them one thing. Igbo bieneng Igbo. Igbo still achabune Igbo. Iyaji bieneng Iyaji. Iyaji ngodoma achabune Iyaji. Akechi bieneng Akechi. Akechi doma achabune Akechi. The fact that an Igala person did something wrong to you is not a ground to use it to refuse to help other deserving Igala people. If you love your people, you will do things for them in spite of whatever they do. I'll give you a simple example. Even when we started trying to do road, not everybody in the community was happy. When we were giving scholarship, not everybody was happy. I even saw some people, I gave their children scholarship. They did not tell me thank you. Because I didn't do for them to thank me. And when I tried to find out why are they even looking at me and putting, I said, look, they said I should be the one to thank them for collecting the scholarship because I was doing it for politics. You see, say, look at it. I said, look, is it not for politics he was doing it? Why should I thank him? And then it got to a point. Some people now take your generosity for granted. They can call you anytime and give you specific amount they want you to give to them. When you say no, you don't have it, they'll start insulting you. And then I ask some of my friends that are politicians, if I want to do something, they say it's because I have a political ambition. They'll send all the boys after me to insult me on the Facebook everywhere. I laugh.
However, he has remained steadfast in providing assistance to those in need.
Some of you that are now there, that are now the leaders of this country, leaders of the state, what did you do that qualify you to be in the power you are now? So why do you think that I'm doing something, I'm doing it to pre-qualify me? What did you do for your own? What was your achievement?
On the 2nd of November 2008, Onoja was invested with the traditional bidder title of Agenyi Ata of Igala Kingdom by the late Ata Alhaji Dr. Aliyu Obaje. This he earned as a result of his numerous support programs, provisions of jobs to Igala indigents, and development of Igala land in general.
I have 51 Igala people working with me. And so that got to the ear of His Royal Majesty, Aliyu Obaje, Gabaidu of late memory, blessed memory. And I got a letter in 2008 precisely. I got a letter to be given Egena Ata of Igala Kingdom. I said, Egena Ata. So I didn't even know the importance of what they were giving me. I said, how did I merit this? They said, because I employ some Igala people, people are were talking well about me. I said, the person that made it possible is Engineer Joseph Makuju. He was the one who trusted me as a non-Igbira person and gave me this position. And by the way, I was just, I think, 38 that time. Around that, I said, no, I won't take it. That let's go and give to him. They said, they have not been giving Ibra people title from Atas Palace. I said, you have to give now because this one raised an Igala boy who was able to raise all these numbers of Igala persons. So that was why they agreed and changed the letter to Engineer J. Makoju as Egene Ata of Igala Kingdom. So again, they came to me in 2009 that you refused last year. This year now, you can take it. I said, okay, I'll collect it. That was how I got it. And it has been from Engineer Makoju owned in 2008 till I got mine. I became very close to the palace. His Royal Majesty Ali Obaje, may his soul rest in peace, was a very dignified person.
Ogwu James Onoja, a child of fortune just like every other individual in the society, has encountered several challenges even as he journeys to the peak of his career. These challenges were part of the things that prepared him towards attainment of goals in life. One of such was the separation of both his parents at his tender age.
As a boy of 8 years old, I started experiencing what you call bitterness, because I was in the midst of the divorce proceeding in 1975, and that is why I always strongly advise against divorce. In that period, because maybe they thought I was a young boy who did not understand anything, I saw those that came to advise my mother not to reconcile, not to come back to the house. I also saw people who came to advise my father not to agree. Those bitterness and those experiences, I used to guide myself even in my own relationship with people, even in my own marriage presently. Another challenge was being raised alone. Because having been cut off from my other siblings, I was literally alone most of the places that my father was being traveled to. And I did not know, I didn't know at that time that God was putting me through the wilderness for a purpose. Because my being raised alone was for a purpose. Because eventually in life, I became alone. When I lost my father and mother, both within 6 months, I lost my brother and sister, both within 1 year. I became alone, and it was a terrible experience for me to cope, being alone, having nobody to share things with. And then I thank God that eventually God brought to me my wife, who is a different story entirely, who became a bundle of joy for me, a partner, a life partner, a friend, a confidant. The biggest challenge came last year, one of the biggest challenges, a challenge that was a life challenge. That was last year. It started from 2019, December. I had to travel abroad for medical checkup. While I was there, they couldn't find nothing until I came back last year to Nigeria, and I was diagnosed with heart disease. I had to undergo a triple heart bypass, heart surgery. And then it was a near-death experience. I was in coma for 22 hours. And I thank God for the prayers of men and women, children, orphans that prayed for me. That was a near-changing experience I've never seen before. It made me to believe more and trust more in God.
He's very spiritual, religious, and godly person. I know that he doesn't play with his faith as a Christian. He's a well-revered member of the Mountain of Fire and Miracles Ministries. He attends all their programs, including the 70 days fasting they do first quarter of the year.
He's a very spiritual man. He takes God seriously. He's one who, like this morning, I was just telling my husband that so many persons at his level will not, they will forget where they are coming from, how God has helped them
But his case is different. He's still burning for Christ, he's still doing the things, and he's even getting better on it. You know, it marvels me a lot about his spiritual walk with Christ.
He doesn't play with God. He doesn't play with men of God. He doesn't joke with things that concerns God. You know, he's a member of Mountain on Fire Ministries. If you hear the name of the church and you know the church, you know that it's only serious people that will be able to, you know, attend such churches.
He's somebody that holds God very dear, and he doesn't joke with the matters of God at all. And I've seen how that has impacted him and people around him.
Chief Onoja explains what his greatest achievement in life is for him.
If you ask me what is my greatest joy, greatest achievement in life, I must tell you it's all about my family. The greatest asset I have is my family. My wife, Rosemary Onoja, who in spite of all my shortcomings, in spite of all my ugliness, he agreed to marry me. He's the smartest woman in the whole world, very smart. But when I was trying to get married, everybody refused me in Ofante. They say my head was very big. She was the only smart girl that agreed to marry me.
I met my husband in the village. I don't know, one day just, you know, there's a place I used to pass going to church and all that. And then one day I saw him, he came to my house with his cousins that I knew. You know, that is how it all started.
My dad is a very compassionate man, and he's a role model to me. Everything he does, he's a philanthropist.
He's somebody that holds family very dear. He's the kind of father that when he travels, he doesn't want to stay there. When he's done with his event, he comes home immediately. So basically, I grew up having him around, and he's somebody that, he's not the traditional kind of father that says you must do this or you must do that. He allows us to choose our path, and he guides us in whatever we want to do.
He's the best father figure I can imagine. I'm very close to my father. He's really a wonderful person.
He actually loves joking a lot. He loves playing a lot, and he's somebody that is he's approachable. He's somebody that you can come to and tell him your problems, and then he would look for a solution to them. And he's also very protective.
In short, I've always told people that if I die and come again, I'll marry him. He's my husband and my friend.
In terms of achievement, impact and success in life, Chief Ogwu James Onoja is indeed a blessed man. It is therefore not out of place to say that one can now begin to model his life after him so as to experience such an unmeasured greatness.
Things are tougher today for young people, but it should not discourage them to be like an Onoja. And if they can pick that from listening to this, and after listening to this, to go back and whatever challenges they are facing at the moment, and just be determined that, like what I was hearing Engineer Makoju saying, I can also be another James Onoja.
Sacrifice pains, but it is very rewarding. The sacrifice you do today by coming here may give you another talent in future, another reward, but it's not immediately. So don't complain.
For those that are looking at us today and thinking that we're born with a silver spoon, it's not like that. I've given a brief history. We started from a rough place, from Ojapata, from stone, with nothing. But we rely on what our parents gave to us to bring us to this stage, and also the grace of God that God gave to us. So my advice to all the young ones coming up now, that there is no alternative to hard work. You must go to school. If you cannot go to school, you must learn handwork. And if you are not able to learn handwork, at least don't be a nuisance to the society. That is a very important thing, because those that run after politicians, those that are going to cultism, those that are going to stealing, robbery. Their end is already defined.
If you want to be successful, you must be diligent, you must be honest, and you must be focused. And then pray to God.
My wish for him is that he becomes a pinnacle of hope to the hopeless.
For me, as a human being, what else will I ask God to do for him but to continue to bless him, grant him good health, most importantly, peace of mind.
We want him to be in a public establishment whereby he'll be able to extend some of these things that he has gained to the larger, the larger society.
Going forward, I look forward to having more from him.
Some of us would have loved him to go into politics. But unfortunately, he's not that type that like politics. Why? Because of the lies, the intrigues, what they do there.
When good people don't go into politics, the rascals will always rule and make life miserable for people. The incompetents will go in and refuse to serve people or serve themselves. The fraudulents will go there just because of amassing wealth.
I wish him again to have long life and prosperity. I wish him again for his own children to take after him.
So we are praying both morning and night that God should sustain him and let him accomplish the purpose God has created him for.
God should take him above where he is right now.
Whatever his aspirations in life, he will succeed.
He has said to me many times, that he wants to impact, he wants to raise a lot of people.
If I have my way, I want to go back, I want to go into teaching, to mentor people to greatness, to show people the rudiment, to reach the high height in their life, to show people the way of tolerance, to show people the importance of peace and development, and what we need to do as individuals and as corporate entity to achieving peace and achieve development in our society. I want to be a teacher. I want to be somebody that will own an institution where people will be taught and mentored. It's a great achievement, it's the greatest thing I'm looking forward to. And then most importantly, to die knowing God, not to die without God. I want to die with God, to be fulfilling God. It's the greatest achievement I want with all my families around me, peacefully.
Chief Ogwu James Onoja, a man of good heart, with generous intention of an amiable character, is a symbol of freedom and hope, not only to his immediate family, but to all within his orbit. A very modest and reserved person, he shies away from publicity. He rarely talks about himself. A solid player in both human and community development.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rising Kogi People, and you can also send an email to risingkogipeople@gmail.com.